Hola everybody, welcome back to my YouTube. Hola everybody, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne. I'm a public speaking creative, and on this channel, I talk about public speaking because I love it and I want to help you love it too. Today's video, I'm sharing 5 of my unpopular opinions on the art of public speaking. And before we get started with the video, I'd love to remind you that you can like this video if you end up liking this video. It lets me know that you like more and want to see more of this type of content. You can comment down below, speak your mind in the comments, and let me know what you think about my unpopular opinions. I don't know, maybe they're popular opinions, who knows? And of course, if you want to support my channel or follow along in my public speaking journey, please consider subscribing. Ahora sí, let's get into it. I have my cold brew here. Cold brew with Chobani vanilla oat milk. The best. Okay. Number 1, I don't have public speaking role models. I don't believe in them. And here's the thing. I'm not saying I don't have role models at all. I'm not saying I don't have people that I look up to and that I'm inspired by when it comes to the way that they public speak and who they are as a person and what they do in the world, how they're positively impacting. What I mean is that I will oftentimes get asked, hey, Yvonne, who should I watch to learn more about public speaking and my style? And the thing is, I always encourage people to not watch anybody else before they figure out who they want to be and who they are as public speakers. Because I think what ends up happening is that we try to mimic what other people do, so much so that we stray further away from who we are. And that leads to inauthenticity. Is that a word? And that leads to us struggling to be authentic. And it's not because we aren't good at something. It's not because we're not incredible public speakers. It's actually because in everything in life, right? We're told to find someone to look up to and to try to be more like them. Or we ourselves fixate like this whole thing with being obsessed with celebrities, right? It's almost like we like to see them just for that and not realizing that they are also human, that they make mistakes, that they also have to find their own way into being the person that they are. So it's not that I don't have role models in public speaking, and I guess saying that I don't believe in them is a little bit harsh, but what I want us to consider is that before we dive into looking at someone else to see how we can incorporate what they do into how we public speak, we might actually be better off just starting off with envisioning who we want to be. Getting really clear about how we want to show up on stage and who we want to be as public speakers. And yes, maybe after that, you can look to people for inspiration and say, wow, I love the way they move across the stage. How can I incorporate that to who I am and make it my own instead of, I want to be more like that. You don't want to be at odds with yourself. And part of the reason we're oftentimes like this with our own selves is because we are comparing ourselves to the person next to us. Number 2, I do not care. Like I'm talking, I don't care. I don't care how many filler words you use in your speech, in your public speaking engagement, in your day-to-day. I care about why. And let me tell you why. There's this idea that filler words are bad, that if you use them, they are an indicator of you not being as good of a public speaker, or that you're way too nervous, or you're unsure of what you're saying. And I'm not saying that filler words can't lead to audience members losing a little bit of trust, maybe even not concentrating on what you're saying because you're using too many likes and ums, because it's happened to me. I promise. I do think, however, that when it happens to me, it's because I am hearing it as a public speaking coach and I am looking for those things. I look for those things even when I'm not trying to. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that those can't be distracting and that filler words are great, right? What I'm saying is that I don't believe in completely getting rid of filler words. I believe in getting to a point in your public speaking career where you understand your, quote, triggers, right? And I call them triggers because we all have these triggers for our filler words, whether it is someone asked us a tough question and we don't know how to answer it, we're nervous, I am now speaking from personal experience, and I have this story that I'm telling, and it's making me want to cry, and I feel very vulnerable, and that leads me to using filler words. Like we all have these different experiences as to why we use filler words. So what I like to work on with people is I want to identify the why. Why are you using this filler word right now? And I've oftentimes found actually that when I'm working with people and I ask them to give me a story and tell me a little bit more about themselves, they can perfectly, almost with zero filler words, explain to me what they do as a job, what their career successes are, or what colleges they went to and what they graduated with. But when it comes to telling me about them as a person, as a human being, they start to get a little nervous or they start to use filler words. So that lets me know that it's uncomfort, right? So when they're using filler words, it's because they feel uncomfortable about something. So how can we stop feeling uncomfortable about that thing? Because that will help us reduce the amount of filler words. So I don't care how many, I care about why. Number 3, when you're on stage, forget about your audience because they don't matter. And I know this one may sound controversial and may sound opposite to everything that you've ever heard, especially when you're prepping for public speaking, because one of the most important things to consider when you're engaging in the art of public speaking is who your audience is. It is at the core of how you prepare. And that's the key. It's at the core of how you prepare. Therefore, when you're on stage, your only job is to deliver. Some of us get really nervous at the idea of judgment from our audience. But if we were to get up on stage and completely forget about what the heck they're saying, what the heck they're thinking, maybe we could deliver in the way that we already prepared for. You already had your audience in mind when you were doing all of the preparation. You know at your core why you were there and what you want your audience to get out of your presentation. So to ease the nerves a little bit, I always suggest forget about your audience for a second because it is what it is. You're going to present what you're going to present, and that's it. As you get more comfortable in your public speaking journey, you can start to loosen that rule up a little bit in that you want to be looking out and attentive to what your audience is doing, how they're reacting. Are they laughing? Are they smiling? Are they frowning? Are they kind of confused by something? Because there are times when you are going to have to pivot live on stage. Number 4, using affirmations right before going up on stage or public speaking doesn't work. This is another controversial one because I do have the Ponte Perra Affirmations podcast, and I talk about how I use affirmations before going up on stage. But what I'm saying here, and something that I actually talk about in my affirmations podcast, is reflection. Affirmations don't work unless we do. You can't depend on affirmations every single time you go up on stage if you haven't done the work prior to understand where these feelings come up, why they come up, and what you can actually do to fix them. For example, one of my favorite affirmations is Ponte Perra, hence why I call Ponte Perra podcast, the affirmations podcast, what it is. And I repeat it to myself over and over again, but I've already practiced it before. I'm not saying my affirmations for the first time right before going on stage. This is something that I practice often, that I ask myself questions about and I reflect on. So what I'm saying is affirmations are like a Band-Aid. You have to rip that Band-Aid off and heal the wound. I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but there it is. And number 5, what you say is more important than how you say it. I know that a lot of us have probably heard that how you say something is actually more important than what you say. And yes, I know that's proven, but I'm approaching this from the perspective of self-confidence. I don't feel confident on stage if I'm doubtful about what I'm saying, if I'm not confident that I've done the research, that I am an expert at what I'm talking about. So when it comes to self-confidence, knowing that what you were saying is of value, that it is correct, will make you feel better. And yes, there is this layer of wanting your audience to retain information, to accept what you're saying as fact, and to resonate with what you're saying. You can work on that. But I do genuinely think that it's so important for your own self-confidence as a public speaker to feel confident in what you're actually saying. And that's it. I didn't want to make this video too long. I wanted to go right into it, and I want to hear what y'all have to say. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? With all of that being said, remember to like this video, speak your mind in the comments, and if you want more of this kind of content, you want to support my YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me across all social platforms on Chats with Yvonne. We are on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter as much, but go find us there. Check out the Chats with Yvonne podcast, Public Speaking con Cultura, and the Ponte Perra Affirmations podcast as well. Descriptions to both of those are in the description box below. Links to everything else that we could possibly link to is also down below. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate the time that you're taking to spend some time with me today and get closer to loving the art of public speaking. Adios, everybody.